Okay, let's talk through these briefly. And in the last video, I said the solution is pretty easy. Well, that's kind of true, kind of false. The solution is easy if we just go and we disable IPv6. This completely prevents this attack, right? If IPv6 isn't enabled in the network, then guess what? We cannot be an IPv6 DNS server because there's nothing for us to do. So disabling IPv6 can have unwanted side effects. So the recommended thing to do is actually to prevent some of these. So we can just define block rules instead of allow rules when we have our firewall. So I have listed those here. You don't have to worry too much about them. This could be something to just copy a picture of and have for your notes, especially if you're studying up. I don't think you will ever be asked this in an interview. But if you are ever pulling off this sort of attack, it might be good to know for a client purpose. Another thing to note that if we are not using WPAD, then we should disable it with group policy. And this tells you just how to do that. And then the relink. So we did relink to LDAP and LDAPs. We only can mitigate this by enabling LDAP signing, and channel binding. So that's another mitigation strategy. So we could have prevented the LDAP attack that you saw by typically LDAP signing and channel binding are not enabled by most clients. Okay. So the last thing to consider is that we can put users into protected users group, and that would prevent impersonation or delegation, which we didn't actually cover a delegation attack, but I did show you that blog posting where it had the delegated access. If we are able to do delegate access against a machine, then we can, just abuse that feature even more. And so to fully disable this, there's a few different things that we can do. We can cut off the head off by disabling IPv6, but best practice is, hey, we should actually just do some block rules in the firewall. We should disable WPAD. We should disable or enable LDAP signing and channel binding, and we should consider moving our admin users to the protected user groups. So with this being said, again, don't worry too much about this. I just like to cover the mitigation strategies to talk about it. If you want to practice this in your lab, if you want to go back as we are going through some of these, and you want to turn off different things that I'm showing you in defenses and try to mitigate these, I say more power to you. See how this works and how it affects certain attacks. And I think that's a really awesome strategy as well. But otherwise, just take maybe a screenshot of this and don't focus too much on memorizing it. So from here, we have just done with our Active Directory initial attack section. We are going to tie everything together, and then we are going to get into post exploitation enumeration. So I will catch you in the next video.